Grand evening. Hi. My name is Leonard Munson, the psychic astrologer. My website is readings by leonardgmunson.net. The weekly overview: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, from June the 19th to the 26th, 2025. Let's talk about what lessons have you learned in communicating while the sun was moving through the astrological sign of Gemini. Aries, your solar sun is in the third house, which is Gemini. Gemini deals with all forms of technology, transportation, communication, short distance traveling, siblings, mechanical things. It also deals with writing, publishing, and speaking. It also deals with research and investigation. It also deals with secondary education and advertisement. Now, the moon represents your emotions. So there are emotional issues that you've been letting hanging down and not taking advantage of. And this has created a snowball effect where you have to take action to communicate what you want, what you expect, and the outcome. The third house, which is Gemini, and this Mercury is its ruling planet. So this could have something to do with emotions, something to do with your roots, your foundation, your home, security, family, and women issues. So this could involve a woman or a woman's situation where things need to be communicated and explicitly understood. Venus in Taurus, this has to do with something to do with work, finances, home, possessions, luxury, and beauty. And you are not listening to your intuition. You were confused. If you have listened to your intuition and addressed the issues from the beginning, these things would not have to come up. Mars, the vigor, the force, the drive, the passion, the energy, the sensuality, the aggression, the war. Virgo, who deals with health, work, and service to others. It also deals with making a decision and getting out of your head. Use being detailed, being an observer, doing things in a methodical way, organized, and analyzing the situation. Jupiter is in Cancer. So opportunity has arisen for you to address these issues, but you have to take your emotions out of it, Aries, to address it by using your intelligence. Saturn in Aries, so that whole foundation that you had in the past was wiped out. So you had to build on a firmer foundation to think outside the box and have an open-minded, and action was needed. Uranus in Taurus, you had to speak your truth because this situation was very chaotic and it was causing a lot of upheaval. So you had to speak your truth to bring her into the situation. Neptune in Aries, there was illusion, fantasy, head in the clouds, fear, delusions, lies, deception. So you had to take the action to bring this stuff to an end. Pluto in Aquarius is retrograding, moving backwards, reviewing when it was going direct and making correction. And you made the correction by speaking your truth. North Node in Pisces, lessons learned in this lifetime about communicating. Lilith in Scorpio, once you communicate, everything was ended. Stop being a wounded warrior and be a survivor. Okay, Aries? The next sign is Leo. Leo, your solar sun, is in the 11th house. The 11th house deals with friendship, hopes, wishes, groups, organization, humanitarian efforts. And Aquarius ruling planet is Uranus. So there's something that you had to speak. You had to open up your third chakra, and express how you felt without putting emotions in it, because this situation caused a lot of chaos. With the sun in Gemini, you have to communicate what you need and what you want, or what you are not going to allow. And it has something to do with respect. The moon in Aries, you did not rely on your emotions. You had to rely on your intellect and your aggressiveness to start this situation off and to correct it. You had to communicate not your feelings in a sense, but do not go and use your feelings to override your intelligence and your intuition. So something told you about this situation, but you did not address it. Venus in Taurus, no longer blinders on. You were avoiding this situation. And every time you was confronted with it, you avoided, and it had to come out. Mars and Virgo, you had to get out of your head, make a decision, and use detailed information to correct the situation. You had to analyze it and then move forward. Opportunities to do this with Jupiter in Cancer was expansion, growth, abundance, blessing, wealth, karma, and the truth. So there was a truth that needed to be exposed. You addressed this issue. When you saw it in the beginning, it would not have occurred anymore. It tore down your old foundation and put you on a new foundation, and you had to take action to communicate. Illusion, fantasy, fear. You had to come out of that and address this issue and take action. Pluto retrograding, moving backwards in Aquarius, it brought freedom, independence, and change. Lessons learned with the North Node in Pisces. Live in the Scorpio, in that emotional abundance, and use your intelligence. Stop being a wounded warrior and be a survivor. Sagittarius. Sag, your solar sun is in the 7th house. The 7th house is Libra. You had balancing on partnerships and relationships, creativity, divine direction, open enemies. Spiritual, the house of spiritual blessings, the house of using diplomacy and being a diplomat, decisions, indecisions, others, and legal situations. And the 7th house, the ruling planet is Venus. Venus was in Taurus. This is creating a chaotic situation. You had blindness on your eyes, and you were avoiding it, and it was just growing and growing, and it came out to explosion. With the sun in Gemini, you have to communicate what you want, what you don't want, and respect. You do not use your emotion, control you, use your intelligence, and take action. Mercury in Cancer, you had to suppress your feelings and use your intellect to solve this situation. Mars in Virgo, the vigor, force, the drive, the passion, the energy, the sensuality, the aggression, the war. If you kept on holding on to this was going to explode. You had to make a decision to get out of your head. Opportunities came up, but you did not take it. And you should have always addressed your feelings. That the old foundation about this situation was wiped away. You had to build a new foundation, and you had to express yourself and open-minded and thinking outside the box. You had to open up your 3rd chakra to speak, your 5th chakra to speak, to address the situation. The illusion about it, no more fear. You had to step out and take the leadership. Pluto retrograde, when the planet is retrograde, is moving backwards. When it's moving backwards, you're reviewing when it's going direct, and you made those corrections. The North Node, these are lessons you need to learn in this lifetime about communicating things. Living in Scorpio, an ending of this situation. No more delaying, an ending of this situation, because it's getting you emotional problem. Stop being the Chiron